Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Our goal at Metro Government is to make Louisville a safer, stronger, and healthier city. To do that, we have to take on our biggest challenges. And right at the top of that list is reducing violent crime. The many reforms and improvements we're making at LMPD, for example, are designed with that urgent goal in mind. Just last week, we announced that we're expanding our deflection program. By partnering with social workers on some 911 calls, we freed up police officers to focus on preventing and solving violent crimes. And there's much more in the works. At the same time, we know that we have to address problems well beyond law enforcement. In particular, we have to find ways to effectively prevent violence and address the impact of violence on our young people. Last month, the Greater Louisville Project released a report that found among people aged 15 to 24 in our city, homicides have tripled between 2018 and 2021, from 20 homicides to 60 homicides. That's horrifying, that's heartbreaking, and that's completely unacceptable. We have to remember that even beyond the loss of these individual lives, each act of violence leaves wounds in people's families and communities that often never heals. That's why we have to do more. That's why we have to act now. And we have to approach the problem of youth violence from multiple angles. One way to do that is to involve people who are most affected, who are closest to the issue. That's why I'm so proud to introduce you today to the new Metro Youth Cabinet. These young leaders behind me and other colleagues have stepped forward to help us incorporate young people into the decisions we make at Metro government that impact them. One reason that I wanted to serve as mayor is because in 1986, I visited the then newly elected Mayor Abramson on a field trip. That visit inspired me to get involved in my community and to be more and to seek a career ultimately in public service that I now am honored to have. I want to give that same opportunity that I had to young people in Louisville today. Part of that is access. We had a great meeting just a few weeks ago that I had with the Metro Youth Council with an opportunity to talk about their ideas, where I could ask them questions and get their input on what we can do as a city to reduce the amount of violent crime in our city. I think it's very important for all of us in city government to bring young people into the process, be transparent, and most importantly, listen to their ideas and perspectives. In some ways, this is an evolution of similar advisory councils that previous mayors have worked with. The improvement and difference here is that each member of our Metro Youth Cabinet today lives in and represents a specific Metro Council district. They will work with my office directly through our Office for Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods. They'll also work with their individual council members and the Metro Council as a whole on issues that specifically impact young people. For example, in honor of this week's National Youth Violence Prevention Week, we have a number of events planned. So now I'm going to call on some of my colleagues on the Metro Youth Council to share those details because they helped conceive and plan these events. And they'll talk about the work that the Metro Youth Council is doing and why this work is so important. So first up, we have Ruby Fuentes. Ruby represents District 13. She is 16 years old and attends Southern High School. Ruby?
Hello, so let me get this started. So, as he said before, violence has had a significant impact on the youth of Louisville. According to the 2020 Louisville Metro Police Department's annual report, there was 1,596 reported incidents of youth violence in Louisville in 2019. With much of violence concentrated in low-income neighborhoods where youth did not have a choice, regardless, safety is not a luxury or a want, rather than a basic need that's affecting our youth and community. In 2022, I encountered my personal experience. I was coming back home with a friend, and from the corner of my eye, I see people moving. And when I look over, I'm shocked. I saw some kids had broken into my car, the youngest, maybe like 10 years old. They were unarmed and ran away as soon as they saw us pull in. I wasn't really mad when this happened, but rather stunned by how young these kids looked. And I asked myself, what are these kids looking for out in these streets that they don't find at home, and how can we help? And I feel like looking at it in this perspective, we should ask ourselves, like, what's causing this? What's going on in their homes? So I want to explain on the topic about mental health. Why is mental health becoming more relevant in our community? Poverty and economics insecurity. Louisville has had high rates of poverty, particularly among Black and Hispanic Latinx populations, which can contribute to mental health challenges such as depression, anxiety, and substance use disorders in 2019, the poverty rate in Louisville was 16%, with rates much higher for Black, 29%, and Hispanic Latinx, 28% residents. So there is more reasons on why mental health is becoming more relevant in the community, including the lack of access to mental health services. There is a lack of access to mental health services for young people in Louisville, particularly among those who are low income or uninsured. According to a report by Kentucky Youth Advocates, only 20% of youth with a major depressive episode received treatment in 2016 and 2017. And there are significant disparities in access to mental health care for those with low income and minority youth. Exposure to violence. Young people in Louisville may experience violence in their communities, schools, or homes, which can contribute to mental health challenges such as anxiety, depression, and PTSD. Why? Disadvantages and disparities can contribute to youth violence in several ways that we should acknowledge and take action as a community. It all starts with a youth cabinet that is a powerful force for change in Louisville, helping to address the root causes of youth violence by advocating for change, engaging with our community, providing mentorship and support, and promoting skill-building opportunities for young people. As a youth cabinet of Louisville, addressing mental health challenges among young people in Louisville will require a comprehensive approach that involves addressing the root causes of trauma and adversity, promoting access to mental health services, and reducing stigma around seeking care. The total funding youth-focused departments fell by 38%. Between 2011 and 2021, as violence surged, ARP-funded programs have helped the city recover, but funds will expire and present a new fiscal cliff after December 31st, 2024. Supporting youth groups like the Louisville Metro Youth Cabinet is a necessary investment in the future of Louisville's young people and the health and well-being of our communities. By providing young people with the resources and opportunities we need to succeed, we can build a stronger, more vibrant Louisville for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruby. Thank you, sir. No, that was great. That was great. Thank you so much, Ruby. See, we need to listen to people like Ruby a lot more. Next, Cameron Galloway. Cameron serves as the Youth Engagement Services Outreach Coordinator with Ocean. He works closely with the Metro Youth Cabinet, and he's going to outline a few of this week's events. Cameron?
Good afternoon. So we first want to thank the Louisville Metro Youth Cabinet and community partners, Javon and the rest of the YES team, for putting such an impactful week surrounding the Youth Violence Prevention Week. So today, March 27th, we have the Youth Vendor Fair. This will take place at Metro United Way at 334 East Broadway from 5 to 8 p.m. What this will do, this will bring together 50 different youth-serving organizations in order to create and connect with other youth around the city. Tuesday, March 28th, we have our youth panel discussion at the California Community Center. This is 1600 St. Catherine Street in Louisville from 6 to 7:30. What this will do, we will be discussing how local violence has directly impacted youth today. Wednesday, March 29th, we have our open mic and poetry night at the Chestnut Street YMCA. This is 930 West Chestnut Street from 5:30 to 8. This is where youth will creatively express themselves on how violence has impacted them. Thursday, March 30th, we have our Kentucky Student Activist event at the Muhammad Ali Center, 144 North 6th Street from 6 to 7:30. This is where the Muhammad Ali will discuss and create workshops on the importance of youth using their voices to create social change. We have Friday, March 31st, is our documentary night. This will take place at Egan Leadership Center at Spalding University. That is 901 South 4th Street in Louisville from 5 to 6:30. This is a short documentary that highlights how school and community violence impact youth today in collaboration with Ashley Phillips. And lastly, to end our event, our week, will be Saturday, April 1st, the Youthful Gala at Muhammad Ali Center. This event is at full capacity, but what we will be doing there is highlighting youth community partners and community organizations on the work that they have done to prevent youth violence. We thank you, everyone, for being able to come out to the events, coming to this presser, and we look forward to seeing you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cameron. And finally, representing the Metro Youth Council, we have Zion Smith. Zion represents District 15. He's 21 years old, and he attends University of Louisville, and he hopes to be an attorney in the not-too-distant future. Zion?
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Greenberg. Thank you, Metro Council. Thank you, everyone watching here today. We are one family. We are one city, and we are one Louisville. And as a family, we must address the problem before us. And that problem is youth violence. And as a family, we are going to have uncomfortable conversations, but it is a necessary one in order for us to heal. Just last month, I had the privilege of attending a summit at the Muhammad Ali Center with the Greater Louisville Project. Youth homicide is up within the past 3 years. And comparing us to our sister cities across the nation, Louisville ranks second in the largest increase in youth violence from 15 years of age to 24. I want you guys to think about that. Those are high school students. Those are students who just walked across the stage. Those are college students. Those are youth every single day out in our city walking the streets. There are gun usage amongst our youth is extremely high, whether you live in the West End, the East End, or the South End. In order to curb this, we need to talk about awareness. Many of our youth do not know about the programs that are out there within our city. And as a family, we must do better to communicate. We have to make sure that the programs are wraparound services throughout the entire family. Economic opportunity is youth violence prevention. Making sure that youth are developed from the time that they are born to the time that they graduate from high school is youth violence prevention. Now let's talk about the opportunities, some more opportunities. The same negative peer pressure has to be turned into positive peer pressure. Parents, I'm looking towards you. It starts in the household. It starts at home. We have to give youth a voice at home. I know it's hard. I know of the unspoken heartaches, but we have to have the conversation. JCPS, I'm looking towards you. The curriculum within our school system has to ensure that youth have a solid foundation to aspire to whatever they want to be. That is violence prevention. For our youth cabinet, these are our top priorities for the next 365 days. Our youth cabinet will commit to recommending policies and programs to the mayor's office and to Metro Council to improve funding for existing youth programs. Our youth cabinet will commit to working alongside JCPS to ensure that there is community and civic engagement throughout every single school within our district. And lastly, our youth cabinet will commit to making sure that we're working alongside nonprofits such as the Boys and Girls Club, such as the YMCA, Parks and Recreation, and other nonprofits that have centers to make sure that our Louisville's youth have a chance. And finally, talking about engagement, our youth are our future. as adults, as role models, as peers, we have to do better at being civically engaged. Now, here's my call to action to everyone watching, to everyone listening today. While many of us look towards the older generation to resolve the issues of today, we must realize that this is a new generation, a new era that requires a new way of thinking. To every young person watching this live who will see clips of this on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, please listen to me clearly. Your life matters. You are smart. You are heard and you are capable. And my ask of everyone today, when you see a young person, please remind them that they are smart, that they have your support, and that they have your love. And once again, we are one family, we are one city, and we are one Louisville. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zion. That was very powerful and important. And I do certainly hope that not only every young person in our city hears that message, but every person in the city hears that message. Because the only way we're going to address this issue is through working together on National Youth Violence Prevention Week this week, but every week, in partnership, our city government, with our Metro Youth Cabinet, with other city government organizations, with the nonprofit community, with members of the clergy, with neighborhood leaders, with formerly incarcerated individuals, with parents, with anyone who wants to be a part of the solution. We need to all work together to actively do things to invest in our young people, to invest in neighborhoods that have been overlooked for our entire generation, to do everything we can to reduce the amount of violent crime that is plaguing our city. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Zion. Thank you, Ruby. Thank you, everyone on the Metro Youth Cabinet. I'm excited to work with you because I am confident that with partners like you, we can truly make a difference. And we still have a few vacancies left on the Metro Youth Cabinet. In Metro Council District 7, 10, 11, and 18, there are still vacancies. We'll be working with our colleagues on Metro Council to fill those. But if you know a young person who you think could step into those roles that lives in one of those districts, please encourage them to reach out to the Office of Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods to participate. So again, thank you to each one of you all for taking times out of your academic careers to be a part of the Metro Youth Cabinet. I'm excited to work with you. The entire government is excited to work with you. And we will together continue to work every day to reduce the amount of violent crime that is impacting young people in our community, that is impacting everybody in our community. Thank you all very much. And I think all of us up here would be happy to take a few questions from the media.
Mayor, you said you met with the youth cabinet, heard some of their recommendations. You obviously have your first budget proposal coming up. What are some things that you heard from the youth cabinet that you think might be immediately actionable by your administration?
So there were two things in particular that I think about nearly every day that came out of those discussions. One was what you heard Ruby talking about earlier with respect to mental health services. What can we do as a city to do more to invest in more mental health professionals in our city that can help young people, that can help others as well that are dealing with mental health crises? Part of that is the deflection program that we announced last week, but we want to get to people before there is a crisis, before there is an emergency. And so that was one actionable item. Another was about community centers. We have some great community centers, great parks, great resources around the city that the city government supports. What can we do? Two things. One, to ensure that our community centers are open some more hours when youth might be more interested in attending that don't conflict with school. And also, what can we do to get the word out? We're doing so many good things throughout our city. You just heard Cameron talking about great events that are this week. It's a challenge to reach out for people to know about all of the good things that the city is doing, that other nonprofit organizations, that other people are doing throughout the city. And so we want to provide more resources to get the word out about these important programs so that more people can participate, which we think will have an even more positive impact on the city.
This question is for the mayor or anybody on the Metro Youth Cabinet. What are some of these tangible goals or even deadlines you guys have for yourselves for this year in terms of achieving this goal of Labor Day?
Well, I'll speak, and then whoever else wants to speak certainly can. Our goal is to act with a sense of urgency. These are large challenges, but we cannot wait. And so we already are taking action. That will continue to be our goal. You will see in some of the actions that we're taking every week that we continue to work towards that goal. And then again, as I was just mentioning earlier, we'll continue to invest in that goal in our budget proposal that will be coming out in about just a little bit over a month. So we will continue to take action until we reach that goal. And the sooner, the better. It can't happen too soon.
In order to address that problem, we have to talk about wraparound services. Again, it starts in the entire household. That means providing the mom, providing the dad a stable job. That means making sure that the kids can go to school within their residing areas, making sure that the schools actually can help the child, can help the entire neighborhood as well. And in order to provide wraparound services, it does require additional funding. That is something that Metro Council has to consider. Right now, we're in the budget period, so once we're able to finalize those numbers, then hopefully we can get it passed and get wraparound services.
Any?
One for me, for you, obviously the way this is set up, there's going to be regular, consulting from these young leaders here. How important do you think it is to get that kind of direct and continued advice and counsel from the people directly impacted by this issue?
I think it's critically important. That's why we're here today. That's why not just me, but several of my deputy mayors are here with me today. They are going to be actively involved in meeting with the Metro Youth Cabinet because we need to listen. We need to listen to young people across our community on issues related to violence, crime prevention, and related to other issues as well. I know that people their age often hear, "Oh, you are the future." That's true. But what's also true is they are the today. We need to do everything we can to work with young people, to empower young people, to listen to young people. They have amazing creative minds and ideas and are passionate and are willing to help work to be a part of the solution. And so we are going to engage them every step of the way on this issue and other issues that we're facing as a city.
Mayor, in that vein, do we have a date yet for the next mayor's working group on gun violence prevention? I know we have the first event at the Mohamed Ali Center. Is there a second event scheduled yet?
Well, we have several issues, several events that are focused on, generally speaking, reducing the amount of violent crime, reducing gun violence, addressing issues regarding to reforms and improvement of LMPD. I know that tomorrow and Wednesday, there are 2-day forums, if you will, that Office of Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods is sponsoring regarding reducing the amount of gun violence in our community. Tonight, I'm speaking with the Clout Group about reforms and improvements to LMPD. On Wednesday night, we have an event at the Fraser Museum where we're having a panel discussion about reducing violent crime, having a police department that's involved in community policing with focus on reforms and improvement. So we are regularly having those. And in terms of, I don't think we have a date yet because we're doing so many of these other things. Do we, Deputy Mayor James? Is there another date that I'm missing? Right, that's what I thought. Okay. So anyway, that's for this week. Yeah, last question.
My question is for anybody on the Metro Youth Cabinet. What you guys hearing from your peers in terms of why youth are reverting to violence so much and how they feel that we can put a stop to this and end it?
So my name is Anya. Yeah, my name is Anya Hamlin, and I'm the youth representative for District 1. For me, I think that a lot of youth resort to violence because they don't feel as if they can, and that's pretty much the simple statement. When it comes to education opportunities, when it comes to artist stuff, anything that requires them or allows them to be motivated or to put themselves out there, they don't think they can. And I think it has a lot to do with, like what he was saying, the JCPS and the educational policy. And I just think that if the youth were encouraged more and if the youth had the opportunities to put themselves out there and to know that they are capable, then I think we would see a lot less youth violence.
Anybody else want to answer? Sure.
Hi, my name is Atticus Yarbrough. I represent District 21. When we talk to young people, I think something that we hear pretty consistently is that, as Anya said, they don't feel like they have an alternative. I think we know a lot of the root causes of young people turning to violence. They don't have safety or economic stability at home. They don't have connections with their peers at school. They are struggling to make ends meet. They don't have food at home. They don't have clean clothes that fit them to wear. The things that people really are looking for is safety at home, at school, at community centers, and a way to engage with things that are meaningful to them alongside peers who are also passionate about those things. If we can find ways to support those two basic categories, I personally believe we would see some violence reduction. We would see young people able to turn to alternatives because those alternatives are there and they're aware of them. I think that's going to be a big focus of our cabinet over the next year, is trying to find ways to promote those kinds of, whether it's opportunities or ways to become more stable to young people in Louisville. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Have a great day.